August 2004, four experienced speleologists, Chao Runyi, 35 years old, Liu Junji, 43 years old, Wang Li, 30 years old, and Sun Jun, 42 years old, set out on an expedition to one of the deepest karst caves in China, Chimarita. Their mission was to map new tunnels, and the group prepared meticulously. They brought food supplies, flashlights, oxygen tanks, safety gear, and waterproof clothing. They were already highly experienced in cave exploration, but even professionals couldn't foresee the nightmare that awaited them. The descent went according to plan until a heavy downpour began. At first, the speleologists didn't realize the danger, as they were deep underground, where water trickled harmlessly down the walls. But soon they heard a distant rumbling sound, growing louder with each passing second. It was neither wind nor a rockfall, it was water. Torrents of rainwater rushed into the karst cavities, filling shafts and narrow tunnels. At first the water rose slowly, but then it surged rapidly. When the lower levels became flooded, the group realized that their route back was cut off. They tried to find another way out. But the cave was an enormous labyrinth, where each new passage led to a dead end or even deeper flooding. The temperature dropped sharply, their clothes were soaked through, and with each passing hour it became colder and colder. The water continued to rise, and the narrow tunnels they tried to squeeze through had poor ventilation. The air became stale, oxygen was running out, and breathing became increasingly difficult. Their flashlights started to die out, batteries drained, and darkness consumed them. They could barely see one another, only hearing heavy breathing and the splashing of water. There was only one last chamber left, where a tiny pocket of air remained above the water. In panic, they tried to slow their breathing, but each breath became agony. The air was filling with carbon dioxide, and their minds grew hazy. Liu Junji was the first to lose strength. He tried to keep moving, but his arms weakened, his breath became shallow, and he collapsed into the water. His friends tried to help him, but they could barely hold on themselves. Chao Runyi clung to the cave wall, trying to stay above the water, but suffocation overtook him. He slowly lost consciousness, slipped down, and the dark water swallowed him. The last ones left were Sun Jun and Wang Li. They remained silent, realizing that there was no escape. The air had become a poison they could not escape from. Their hearts pounded, but with each second, their breathing grew weaker and weaker. Wang Li closed his eyes first. Sun Jun was left alone in complete darkness, knowing that death was near. One more breath, one more, and then nothing. When rescuers finally reached them several days later, the bodies were found in different parts of the cave. Some clung to the rock, some were frozen in the water, but on every face expressions of agony and terror remained. They fought for their lives until the very end, but nature was stronger. The Chimarita tragedy shook the speleological community. After this disaster, water-level sensors were installed in the caves, but for those who remained forever in its depths, it was already too late.